everyone, and welcome once again. I'm back. Oh, baby, it's the first week of real football, and that is also fantasy football. I am JT, aka the Master, and you know where you're at when you listen to this broadcast. I'm sorry, for no reason. Fantasy football. Hey, it is what it is, people. What we're going to do today, I'm going to go over some inactives that have to relate to very important players, and also I'm going to go over each and every game, each and every matchup. But before I do that, I'm going to go and recap the last two games, which was the Baltimore Ravens versus Kansas City, and the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. Okay, and unfortunately, some players I would say disappointed, but I'll say this. Let me put it this way, and I'll back up a little bit. Let me put it this way: if you're a Derrick Henry fan, or if you had Derrick Henry in your lineup, remember what I said, people. Remember what I said. Until the Baltimore Ravens get this act together, it wasn't a good look for Derrick Henry players. It wasn't a good look. They couldn't make their mind up what kind of offense they wanted to run, and what it turned out, Derrick Henry was not included. Big acquisition. Everybody said, "Oh, this is going to put the Ravens over the top." Derrick Henry got the ball only 15 times. It was the Justice Hill show. And you would think you had Derrick Henry getting the ball a lot in the first half. Second half, where was Derrick Henry for most of the game? Standing on the sidelines, wondering. And I saw him a few times. I think he was probably talking to his running back coach, like, what the hell's going on? Why aren't they using me? Derrick Henry can catch the football, okay? And it looked like they wanted to run Lamar Jackson a lot and throw the ball to Justice Hill. Okay. But they changed up completely, and I wouldn't say deleted, but I would say that too. They deleted Derrick Henry from the offense, mainly from the offense, but they were playing from behind. I can understand that, but if you know about Derrick Henry, and quite naturally fantasy football owners did last year, Derrick Henry got more involved in the offense in the passing game. It's not like he can't catch the football. You throw the football to a almost 250-pound running back that has been a so-called king of the running back position, and then now he's out there with DBs, maybe not out there with the linebackers, out with the DBs and safeties. Some people are going to make a business decision on the defense when they have a big boy like Derrick Henry coming at them, and even linebackers. Okay, he can't catch the football. You didn't include him in the offense. What are you doing? You had Lamar Jackson running around like he was the Derrick Henry, trying to run over people, and he's lost about 20 pounds. So he's lighting the butt as we speak. He's lighting the butt. He's not a big-time running back. I understand you wanted to showcase him more. Okay, if that's what you want to do, why did you get Derrick Henry? Why did you get Derrick Henry? Okay, as a decoy, as a spectator on the sidelines, made no sense. I understand they were playing from behind; they had to change up. Okay, what did they get him? They still got an L from Kansas City. They still got an L from Kansas City. Anyway, that's one disappointment. Another disappointment. Jordan Love got hurt. His last play of the game. It wasn't the last play of the game. It was his last play of the game. He got hurt. MCL. He'll be out for up to a month and a half, maybe 4 or 5 games, something like that. Okay, 4 or 5 games. They don't have a bye. Green Bay, I'm talking about, until week 10. So he's going to miss some all games. Okay, how's that affect Jalen Reed? How's that affect Romeo Doubs, Chris Watson, Luke Musgrave, Tyler Kraft, all the pass catchers? All the pass catchers. What are you going to roll with Malik Willis? He's the only other quarterback that you have on the team. Or are you going to go out and get somebody for a short-term fix, like Ryan Tannehill? I think that Ryan Tannehill is probably. People, I'm telling you, before it comes out, his ACL, Jordan Love's ACL is intact, from what I understand. He's got some other issues that he's a deal with, like I said, MCL. I think that they're going to go after. I wouldn't go after Mac Jones. Come on, man, career backup. Jimmy G, turnover waiting to happen. Anytime in a crucial situation, what happens when Jimmy G turns the ball over? I think the safest, and they're familiar with each other, would be Ryan Tannehill and the head coach. They're familiar with each other. He knows their limitations. He knows Tannehill's limitations and what he's best at doing. And that probably would be the smart move. Malik Willis, keep him at the backup. Okay. That's what makes sense to me. Anyway, let's go to the inactives. Let's get to present day, which is today. I'm pumped up for football today. Let's go to the first game. Or Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. 1:00 game. Russell Wilson is questionable after he was limited in practice Thursday and Friday. Justin Fields took Friday's first team reps and should probably start. Jalen Warren practiced Thursday and Friday and will suit up. He's dealing with a hamstring. They're shaky. That's shaky. Okay. On the other side of the ball, I would say that Kyle Pitts had a full session Thursday and Friday and is not going to have an injury designation. Now, he also dealing with a hamstring. And you're going to get this with a lot of players in the beginning of the season. Not that's not going to happen, but when they transition from preseason games and start practicing, they're not completely in what you call football shape. And these hamstrings are probably one of the most common issues going into the first game. Okay, I'll have to say that. The Cardinals have no, and that's with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Next game is Arizona Cardinals and the Buffalo Bills. No inactives of injuries of fantasy relevance for the Cardinals. Curtis Samuel, who was dealing with a toe, practiced fully all week and will play. Basically, all these fantasy relevant players are going to be active for the Arizona and Buffalo game. Let's move on to the Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears. I'm going to run through these as quick as I can because we got other issues. I'm going to go through each and every game. Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears. DeAndre Hopkins, who was dealing with a knee, was limited all week and deemed questionable. He'll be a game-time decision. So be aware of that. If you have DeAndre Hopkins anywhere in your lineup, whether you have him starting him sitting on the bench, it makes a difference. He's the older wide receiver. Takes longer for him to heal. He may not be at 100%. Let's go to the Bears. Keenan Allen practiced fully Friday, but remains questionable. He is dealing with a heel. You know Keenan Allen. You know the history of Keenan Allen. Anybody who's had Keenan Allen on there in the lineup knows the history of Keenan Allen and his constant set of injuries. So be aware of that, people. Be aware. Okay. How about let's move on to the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is key, people. This is key. This is really, really a big thing, in my opinion. Let's go to the Patriots first. Kendrick Bourne remains on the PUP list and is out with the knee. Antonio Gibson is dealing with a hip and is questionable after limited work Thursday and Friday. Tyler Hunter practiced all week and is good to go, and he was dealing with a foot. Now, the Bengals, okay, one of these wide receivers was drafted in the first round and was going through a contract dispute. And it's a game time decision. Okay. Jamar Chase is questionable after he was limited in practice until Friday because of contract dispute before picking up an illness description on Saturday. He's a game time decision. Is he going to play? Joe Burrow practiced all week and will play. And last but not least, T. Higgins is doubtful, dealing with a hamstring after practicing Friday. People, I got something for you for that. Okay? Let's go to Houston at the Indianapolis Colts. No injuries of fantasy relevance for the Texans. Josh Downs on the Colts is out for week 1. Place kicker Spencer Schrader, for those who have kickers in their lineups, was elevated on Saturday with Matt Gay with a hernia questionable. Let's move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins. Jaguars have no injuries of fantasy relevance. The Dolphins, Tyreek Hill dealt with a thumb issue in the preseason, but he hasn't been on the injury report all week. And cornerback Jalen Ramsey is questionable for the opener. This should be for anybody who has these players in this matchup. We'll get to this, but this is going to be interesting. Let's go to the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. On the Panthers, Tommy Tremble, tight end, dealing with a hamstring and back, and tight end Ian Thomas, the team's top 2 tight ends, were ruled out of this week. Thomas has been placed on IR. Running back Miles Sanders, a finger, had a full session Friday and is good to go. On the other side, this often injured running back, Kendry Miller, is on IR and will miss the first 4 games. Okay? So it's Jay Williams and Alvin Kamara. That's the 2 main running backs. Okay, let's go to Minnesota Vikings. These are all 1 o'clock games, people. Inactives. Quite naturally, you know that T.J. Hawkinson, who's dealing with an ACL, remains on the PUP list. Jordan Addison is dealing with the ankle, and Jalen Naylor is another wide receiver. Practice full Friday and will go. Okay, there's no inactives of fantasy relevance for the Giants. Let's go to 4 o'clock games. Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. And people, come 11:30 is when the inactives come out for each one of these teams. So the up-to-date inactives, if I didn't mention it here, are going to be out 11:30 Eastern Standard Time for the early games, and then around 2:30, 3 o'clock for the 4 o'clock games. Pay attention to those inactives. You may have players that are in your lineup that may not, for whatever reason, play, and you have to, excuse me, take them out of your lineup, put a replacement in. Okay. All right, let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Brock Bowers made it through a full practice Friday and is good to go. And let's go to the Chargers. DJ Shark was placed on IR Saturday. Justin Herbert, who was dealing with a foot, and wide receiver Joshua Palmer dealing with a knee, had minor issues Thursday and Friday, but they practiced fully both days, and they should be good to go. Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks. This is an interesting game. This should be okay. Just no injuries of fantasy relevance for the Broncos. Full go. For the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett is questionable, but he had his first full session Friday, suggesting he's indeed ready to go. Noah Fant, who was dealing with a toe, did as well. He carries no injury status. Okay, and we'll talk about Noah Fant when that game comes up. My Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns at a 425 game. CeeDee Lamb was officially elevated from the exempt list and will play. And quite naturally, if you're a Cleveland Browns, well, if you know of a fantasy football player, you know that Nick Chubb remains on the PUP list. And Jerry Jeudy, who was dealing with a knee, practiced fully all week and will roll. Let's move on to the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No injuries of fantasy relevance for the Commanders. And wide receiver on the Buccaneers, Trey Palmer, concussion, practice all week, but remains questionable. Los Angeles Rams at the Detroit Lions, which is the Sunday night game. Okay. Tyler Higbee remains on the PUP list, and wide receiver Puka Nacua, who's dealing with a knee, practiced fully all weekend, is good to go. And the Lions have no injuries of fantasy relevance. Let's move on to the New York Football Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Williams, who's dealing with a knee, had an ACL last year, practiced fully all week and isn't on the final report. Okay. The 49ers. I've told you this before, people. I'm telling you this before. And this is going to be an issue, in my opinion, all season. All season. Running back Elijah Mitchell, hamstring, will spend the season on IR. He's out. He's out. And Christian McCaffrey. And I had said this time and time again. Calf and Achilles, which is really bad for a running back, was limited all week and is expected to receive his usual workload, despite being officially questionable. People, I know, let me put it this way. I know you got to play it, but I'm going to say I told you so. I'm going to say I told you so ahead of time. He's dealing, let me put it this way. Chris McCaffrey, no number one pick last year. And this year, with the workload he had last season, is going to be able to replicate that this season. Plus, he's at that dreaded age, 28 years old. Plus, he's dealing with the calf. He's dealing with, and this is bad. This is really bad. I've talked about this, people. I know I'm rambling on, but I want to stress this. I want to stress this because I was sounding alarms early in the season for months. He's dealing with an Achilles. Achilles is the death knell for running back. You got to be very careful with a running back or any player, but a running back especially with an Achilles. He was limited all week. He's expected to receive his usual workload. He's expected. I don't believe he will. I believe it's Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason is a key guy here. Okay? And I said this long ago, and I'll say it again. Okay? Isaiah Guriendo, the other running back that sits behind Jordan Mason, those two running backs are very key to what the 49ers want to do, because I believe Christian McCaffrey will not be healthy the whole season. He's not healthy now. I don't think he's going to be healthy the whole season. Those two running backs are going to be key. You got a issue? Okay. You come Monday night. We'll see how much of a full workload Chris McCaffrey gets, knowing that he's dealing with a calf that he set out the whole preseason for the most part. And Achilles. Okay, you can deal with the calf. But the Achilles, if that snaps, his season's over. That snaps, his season is over. And he may not be the same running back ever. 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 And ever is forever. Okay? Ever is forever. I'm just putting it out there for people that need to know. You need to know. And it was not like I had said this before. I mean, didn't say it before. I did. I know I'm saying, oh, I told you so. Well, yeah, I told you so. I sounded alarms early in the season. People were saying, oh, he's the number one pick. I said, okay, you take him number one. I ain't. I never got a chance because all my fantasy football drafts, I was in the lower part of the draft position. So, but if it was me, I wouldn't take him number one. No way. No how. And I said that loud and clear. Loud and clear. I had him for the first month or two as the number one pick. And then I changed up from there because I realized he's 28 years old. He's right on the edge there that he may have one good year left and then he's going to fall off because Father Time waits for no one when it comes to running backs. But I sounded the alarm later on in the months when I realized, but when I being realistic, the workload he had one of his career years. It's not going to be the same. He's an older back, had a career year. He's going to regress. He's going to fall back. And then the injuries in training camp comes up. Hello? Older back. Heavy workload last season. It takes a toll. That's all I got to say. And we'll see what happens. I could be proven wrong. It's not the first or the last time. But I also said buyer beware. I said that more than once. Anyway, let's move on to the actual games. And we're going to start it off just like I started off in the actives with Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Russell Wilson may not play. Justin Fields may play. I know they're going against Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are a decent team with high expectations. They're playing in Atlanta in the season opener. I'm not playing Justin Fields, people. No way, no how. No way, no how. I think they're going to lean heavily on the Arthur Smith offensive side of his offense. I mean, Arthur Smith likes to run the football. He's a conservative type of guy. You play Najee Harris. You play Jalen Warren. Caution, Jalen Warren's coming off a hamstring. You play Najee Harris for sure. I think Najee Harris is going to get the majority of the carries. I know they want to go 50-50 with those two running backs. But I think because of what they're dealing with Jalen Warren, I think Najee Harris is the definite pick here. George Pickens. Who do they have to throw to? Tavon Austin, Van Jefferson, and George Pickens, including Pat Freiermuth, who I say you should play. I love Pat Freiermuth. In this offense, Arthur Smith likes to use the tight end to throw to. You play Pat Freiermuth, okay? On the other side of the ball, Pittsburgh has a very good defense. You got Zach Robinson coming from the L.A. Rams, and you got Raheem Morris also coming from the L.A. Rams. That offense should be, and I'll say this. If you looked at my settings, okay, if you looked at my rankings. Hello. Get it together, Jerry. If you looked at my rankings, I had Kirk Cousins, as you see here, with a 3 designation for the whole season. He's number 18. And I also had Drake London at a forward. The overall strength of schedule for these guys is favorable. Favorable. That's one of the reasons why I gave you all the information. It's favorable. I love Drake London in this. I love B. John Robinson in this. In this game. I love B.J. Robinson in this game. Okay. Robinson is a 4 people. I'm going to keep this up here. He's a 4. He's about a 3 in this game. Okay. He's going to be used early and often. Remember, this is an offense that the Rams run. An offensive that the Rams that's going to be copied by the Rams. I mean, this offense is copying the Rams. So they're going to feature wide receivers and also the running back. It's going to be pretty much a diversified offense. And they have a outstanding tight end that they want to use. Okay. So who am I talking about here? I'm talking about Kirk Cousins as a number 2 quarterback in a 2 quarterback league. I'm talking about Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. Okay. I would say household names, but well-known names. I'll put it that way. They're well-known names that you should be playing, okay, without hesitation in this matchup. Let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills, okay? Let's go to the visiting team in Kyler Murray. You know, and I said this a couple of seasons ago, not last year, I think a couple of seasons ago, that I saw something different on a FSP show, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Mr. Vic Gardner. And he's a fan of Kyler Murray, which is fine. And I dogged Kyler Murray when I thought it was warranted. And I praised him when I thought it was warranted. And if you listen to the show before Kyler Murray actually came back after his injury, I told Mr. FSP I saw something different in Kyler Murray. I felt he had matured enough and realized and was humbled enough that I think he's going to play better than most people think. And he has. Okay. I thought he was playing, and I said this before. He said Vic thought I was hating, but I wasn't hating. I was just seeing what most people did see. He was playing hero ball, and his ego got the best of him. That's what I saw. I call it like I see it. I see a different Kyler Murray. And I like Kyler Murray in this matchup. Okay. I also like Marvin Harrison Jr. because he doesn't have too many weapons to throw to. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and I'm listing them in this order: Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and yes, people, Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson. Remember that name. I think Michael Wilson is going to score a touchdown in this game. I know that may be a wow, really? I'm telling you, when all else failed last year, Michael Wilson was a man to go to. Okay. So believe me when I say this. I like this matchup, and I think it's going to be a matchup to enjoy. Then you got Josh Allen on the other side, who lost Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and only has Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and Keon Coleman, which I really don't like Keon Coleman. Okay. Keon Coleman is just like Quentin Johnson of the LA Chargers. He can't create separation. And that's an issue for a wide receiver. Okay. Okay. So I'm not too high on Quentin John, on Keenan Coleman. I do like Dalton Kincaid because I think he's the second option in this offense in the passing game. And Khalil Shakir, big time wide receiver. When I'm talking about big plays, big play wide receiver. I say big time, big play wide receiver. In Khalil Shakir is probably going to be the main option for Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir, and a new offensive coordinator offense wants to be able to run the football on James Cook. This Arizona defense is not that good. They should have their way, meaning the Buffalo offense should have their way playing against the Arizona Cardinals. All right, let's move on to the next game where the debut of Caleb Williams as a rookie first-round pick. And rookies debuting have not won. Number one pick, rookie. Let's talk about this for a minute. Number one pick is a quarterback. Okay. If you're the number one pick and you're a quarterback, means you're on your team wasn't that good. I mean, I know they acquired it from the Carolina Panthers, and they won what 6 games last year, 7 games last year. Okay, so they weren't that bad, but rookies have a hard time winning in their season debut. Okay, now we have the second year quarterback in Will Levis. I don't pick here. I don't pick winners and losers. That happens on a FSP show, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon. I pick fantasy relevant players. Let's go to the visiting team first. I like Will Levis in this. He likes to get the ball down the field. As long as DeAndre Hopkins is healthy, you play DeAndre Hopkins. Calvin Ridley is another guy that I've acquired more than one league. You play Calvin Ridley. Will Levis wants to get the ball down the field. Okay, that's his specialty in getting the ball down the field. These are 2 down the field wide receivers. You play them. I can't tell you who's going to be the number one running back in here because these guys have similar skill sets, meaning Ty J. Spears and Tony Pollard. I know Tony Pollard got a nice contract, but is he going to get the majority of the work, or is it going to be basically a 50-50 split? These guys are basically a mirror of each other, okay? A mirror of each other. So let's move on to the Chicago Bears. The weakness of the Tennessee Titans was the passing game, defense, passing game. Okay, he got a lot of weapons in Chicago. Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. We talked about Keenan Allen before, and also the wide receiver that from last year carried over, DJ Moore. Keenan Allen is probably the odd man out of here. You play DJ Moore, and you play Rome Odunze. Dunze probably is best served as a wide receiver 3 or a flex. Okay. Not too high on Cole Kmet. I don't think Cole Kmet is the type of pass catcher that's going to give you any relevant fantasy numbers in this matchup. And you got a 3-headed monster in running back position. And if you got a 3-headed monster in the running back position, you got no running back. Who are you going to go to be the go-to running back in this? Khalil Herbert? I don't know. DeAndre Swift? I don't know. Rashawn Johnson, I don't know. In my opinion, and I've always been liking this kid, he's the bigger of the three. He's as versatile as the three of the two running backs. But he's a third wheel. Okay. They got to settle on who's going to be the lead back. Understand they want to be able to rotate these running backs into the lineup because they have different skill sets that they want to use. Rashawn Johnson is a very good pass blocker, can catch the football out of the backfield, and given a chance, can run the football. Okay. DeAndre Swift is a good catcher out of the backfield, is a halfway decent runner, not too much in the passing game. Oh, he's good in the passing game and not too much in the pass blocking. Khalil Herbert is mainly a runner. So of the three, I think Rashawn Johnson is more versatile, but of the three, I think he gets the least work. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, people, you know about the Bengals, but I'm going to talk about the New England Patriots because I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And for fantasy-wise, Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby, but I think he's in a bad situation with these options that are limited in New England. I think they're going to try to rely heavily on the running game, and you quite naturally play Ramondre Stevenson. You may want to go to Demario Douglas if Jalen Polk is playing. I like Jalen Polk in this. I really like Jalen Polk. I think he's going to surprise some people. I would wait and see what's going to happen. I can't say for sure, in my opinion, what type of passing offense this is going to be with Jacoby Brissett as the trigger man. But you got to wait and see, people. That's all I can say. You got to wait and see. I think this is going to be a pretty bad offense. I think that tight end is key here. I think Hunter Henry is going to get some decent targets. I think Hunter Henry probably gets into the end zone. Okay. I don't think they score many points. I mean, I think Hunter Henry is going to be more the fortunate one to probably get into the end zone. I don't think Jacoby Brissett against the Cincinnati defense is going to be able to move the ball effectively. Speaking of Cincinnati, you got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow probably is going to have a Joe Burrow type of day, throwing the football to who? To who? T. Higgins more than likely won't play. Doubtful. Dealing with lower leg issues. Jamar Chase, let me put it this way. If Jamar Chase is playing, I would say he's probably on a reduced workload. But if he's playing, you got to play him. It's Jamar Chase. He's a first-round draft pick. You got to play him. Okay? T. Higgins more than likely will not play. Andre, remember this name. I picked him up in a couple of leagues when I realized T. Higgins may not play. Andre Losovius. And I may not be saying his name right, but he is the third receiver in the three receiver set. You know, I talked about Jermaine Burton, but he's got some attitude issues. They knew he had attitude issues coming in, and it's carried over from college into the pros. So he's kind of on the bad boy list in the Cincinnati Bengals. But this kid has been coming on. He's a very, very good wide receiver. And Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have talked highly of him. Highly of him. That's one sleeper. That's a sleeper. I would definitely play him. T. Higgins, you don't have a better option. He's definitely a flex player. Okay. And don't be surprised he gets into the end zone. Don't be surprised he gets about 5 targets for 50 yards, somewhere around there. He's a good flex play, in my opinion. Let's go move on to the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. Josh Downs is out. And Adon Mitchell is in. Let's talk about the Houston Texans first, the road team. C.J. Stroud. This is a division game, and C.J. Stroud should have his way with this Indianapolis Colts. You play Joe Mixon, they're going to want to run the football. You play Nico Collins. You play Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell in flex. Those two guys in flex, okay? Those two guys in flex. And that's all. I can't even say play Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is the fourth option in his passing game. Fourth option in the passing game means you're an afterthought. Basically, you're an afterthought. Okay? Let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts. Come on, people. I'm not a big Anthony Richardson fan. He's a very good runner. He reminds me of Lamar Jackson 2.0. Not a very good runner. Not the most accurate passer. Inconsistent in being able to get the ball to whoever he needs to go to, and that's Michael Pittman Jr. So I know that Michael Pittman Jr. is probably the number one wide receiver, but it's going to be inconsistent. Oh, okay. They want to get the football, so he may get a lot of targets. Targets, like I say, equal opportunities. So he may get a lot of targets, which may accumulate to fantasy football. But I don't trust this wide receiver. But you can't sit Michael Pittman Jr. You got to put him in your lineup. Adon Mitchell, I don't have too much to say. And of course, I should go without saying, you got to play Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. Jacksonville at Miami. This should be a high-scoring game. And I will go with the Jacksonville Jaguars first. Okay. What version of Trevor Lawrence are we going to get? Are we going to get a consistent put the ball down the field to wide receivers and his tight end consistent? Or are we going to get the turnover-prone Trevor Lawrence? You never know. That's the problem with Trevor Lawrence since he's been the number one pick a few years ago. Inconsistency. Showed it last year when they fell apart last year near the end of the season. And what's going to happen against this Miami defense? But you got to play Trevor Lawrence, okay? Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram. We'll see what happens with the Brian Thomas Jr., the newly acquired rookie wide receiver, how effective he's going to be. And you could put him in there. They have high expectations for him. But he's only a flex, in my opinion. Okay? Only a flex. Let's move over to the other offense, which is the Tua Tagovailoa and company. You play Tua. Look at the weapons he has. Tyreek Hill, Jaden Waller. Come on, man. And I'm calling for this guy to get double digits in the tight end position. That's Jonnu Smith. People are not thinking about Jonnu Smith. I am. And I've said this before. I picked him up in many leagues, and I also picked him up in one of my leagues today. This kid, if Devon Achane, who's not a big back, or Raheem Mostert, who was one of the touchdown monster last season, get hurt, Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright was the second, in some circles, second-rated running back going into the draft. Second-rated running back, Jalen Wright. 5'10", 6 feet, 200 plus pounds. and runs a 4-4, 4-3. I'm telling you, people, if you have one of these Miami running backs, you need to have Jalen Wright as your somebody sitting on the bench, just waiting to happen. This is a star waiting to break out. This is a star. One of these two running backs, A-Chain or Mustard, get hurt. This is a star waiting to break out. All he needs is an opportunity. All he needs is an opportunity, especially in this offense, where they're going to go up. The running backs are going to go up with empty. I wouldn't say empty boxes, but they're not going to be loaded boxes. Not going to be 7, 8 man in a box because of the wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, people. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Okay. You have a head coach that knows how to coach quarterbacks. But I can't say play Bryce Young just yet. But I think this offense is going to be a little better. Maybe not better than the Saints, but I think this offense is going to be a little bit better. To me, until Jonathan Brooks comes back, whenever he comes back, you play Cooper Hubbard. Okay, they did a lot trying to improve the offensive line. Quite naturally, you saw last year that Bryce Young was running for his life because of the issues with the offensive line. I like Cooper Hubbard. Miles Sanders, he's an afterthought. And Adam Thielen was the afterthought the latter part of last year. I think Deontay Johnson is the place to go here. They acquired Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to be the alpha in this. I know they had a rapport, meaning Bryce Young and Adam Thielen last season, but I think that rapport has migrated to Bryce Young and Deontay Johnson. All right. On the other side of the ball, Derek Carr, number 2 in the quarterback, 2-quarterback league. Alvin Kamara. Carolina can be run on. Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed, okay, are the options to play here. I don't think they're going to have a big time need for the tight end Taysom Hill or Juwan Johnson. I think the 3 that you want to play and 4, if it's a 2-quarterback league, would be Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed. Minnesota at the Giants. Okay. I think Minnesota, I think this is what you can do. I think you can play Sam Darnold. They're playing in New York. Okay. It's not like Sam Darnold hasn't played in the same stadium before in New York. Giants have a halfway decent defense, but the offensive-minded coach in Minnesota is going to get the best out of Sam Darnold. I do believe that. And if you're in need of a quarterback for whatever reason, I would play Sam Darnold against the New York Giants. I would play Sam Darnold against the New York Giants in a single quarterback league. I'm going out on a limb. Yeah, I'm going on. But I know there's people saying it's the same old Sam Darnold. Okay, all right. But I'm saying that Aaron Jones is a running back 2, a low end running back 2, or a flex. But the main guys in here are Justin Jefferson and Justin Jefferson and the Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison is dealing with issues. Okay? Let's move on the other side. I don't like anybody on this other side, the Giants. I'm not even recommending you play him. I know Malik Neighbors. People will talk about Malik Neighbors. He's a real deal. Well, you got Daniel Jones throwing the freaking football, and the Minnesota Vikings are not that bad against the pass. Okay, got a good pass rush. I don't like with Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to make sure that Daniel Jones is sitting on his butt quite a bit. Let's go to the first 4 o'clock game, Las Vegas Raiders, Chargers. Not Zamir White, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. And a humble debut for Brock Bowers. Okay, let's move on to Justin Herbert. The Vegas Raiders have allowed 16 points or less in fantasy against quarterbacks. I can't say, I know Justin Herbert, but I can't say, even though Justin Herbert is making his debut at home, that he's going to rack up some fantasy points. I don't believe that. You got to play Gus Edwards as a running back 2, running back 3, maybe a flex. Joshua Palmer is probably the most experienced and the go-to guy for Justin Herbert. People don't think too much of Joshua Palmer, but I think targets equal opportunity. Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson are going to be inconsistent, in my opinion. I don't like these guys. DJ Shark is not going to be playing. So let's move on to Denver at Seattle. Bo Nix against the Seattle defense, making a debut in Seattle. Don't play Bo Nix. Javonte, they're going to want to run the football with Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin. Okay? The main target is Courtland Sutton. You play Courtland Sutton. I can't recommend any other guy on any other guys on the Denver Broncos. On the other side, this is going to be a passing offense. They got an offensive coordinator coming from the University of Washington that loves to throw the football. Geno is one of the most, and you can just, Geno Smith, some people don't think too much of him. I think in this game, Geno Smith was the comeback player of the year, if I'm not mistaken, in 2022. Took a step back in 2023. I think he takes a step forward again in this game. And he's going, you play Geno Smith. You play Kenneth Walker because they're going to be running the football with this guy. And you play the two wide receivers. And the 2 wide receivers I'm talking about are DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith Enigma. Tyler Lockett, 30-something plus years old. I think he takes a back seat to the second-year player in Smith Njigba. And you play, and I'm going to give you a little sleeper here, another sleeper tight end, Noah Fant. He's basically the only tight end they have. And I tell you, this is a passing offense. And Noah Fant is going to get his I think he gets into the end zone. Okay? In my opinion, I'm making a bold statement. I think he gets into the end zone. All right? Let's go to Dallas at my Cleveland Browns. My Cleveland Browns. We're in Cleveland. Okay? You play Dak Prescott. I mean, they have a hell of a rush, a hell of a defense in Cleveland. Okay? But they have a hell of an offense in Dallas also. And Mike McCarthy is a pass-happy head coach / offensive coordinator. He played Dak Prescott. Don't play any of these running backs. I can't. Cleveland was weak against the running back position, but Dallas Cowboys in that position are also weak. You play Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is probably going to be on a pitch count. They're going to probably concentrate on shutting CeeDee Lamb down, but it's CeeDee Lamb. You got to play him. You got no choice. And Ferguson, Their tight end is going to get a lot of looks because they're going to try to shut down these wide receivers. Okay? Just trust me on that. I know people. In a 2-quarterback league, I'm playing Deshaun Watson. I'm playing Jerome Ford. I think he's going to have a decent game. And also Amari Cooper. And they know what they have in a jewel in a tight end position in David Njoku. Okay? So those are the options I'm telling you to play. Let's move on to a very interesting game. The debut of another rookie quarterback, number 2 pick in the draft, in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. I'm telling you to play Jaden Daniels. He's the real deal. I really like Jaden Daniels. I can't tell you to play any of their running backs. Let me tell you, Tampa Bay is one of the better run defenses in the NFL. One of the better run defenses in the NFL. They can be passed on, and I think that's what's going to happen. You got to play Scary Terry. I'm telling you. Okay. Mr. FSP told me yesterday that he likes throwing to De'Ami Brown. I think he's going to be liking throwing to both these guys. Okay? Terry McLaughlin and De'Ami Brown. But I think I like Terry better than I like Brown. On the other side, Washington's defense is revamped. They got a defensive-minded coach and head coach in Dan Quinn. But Baker Mayfield, Rashad White, Mike Evans, always 10 years straight, 1,000-yard receiver at least. Come on, man, really? You got to play him. And they put Chris Godwin, back in the slot. And that's where he does his best work. So you definitely play. If you have any part of what I told you about in Tampa, you play him against this Washington defense. Baker, Rashad White, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, without a doubt. All right, let's move on to the 8 o'clock game. This is going to be lights out. And I'm going to name some players. And all these players, there's going to be a lot of them. A lot of them that you play. Matthew Stafford, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta. This is going to be offense in this game. Okay? So if you have any part of what I just said, of any of these players, you play them. Because they should produce. They're going to get their opportunities, and they're going to produce. Let's go to the last game. New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go to the road team first. Aaron Rodgers. 2-quarterback league is Aaron Rodgers. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. Main weapons for the New York Jets. Temper your expectations, people. But you got to play these guys. Breece Hall was number 2, 3, 4, 5 pick in most people's fantasy drafts. You got to play Breece Hall. You play Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers got to throw to somebody. That's the number 1 wide receiver for the Jets. Had quality points. Okay. And then on the other side, I can't honestly against this Jet defense play Brock Purdy. Beware, and I keep saying it. Christian McCaffrey. Okay, you got to play him. If you have him, you have no choice but to play him. Heaven forbid you put Christian McCaffrey on your bench and he goes off. I don't think he's going to go off. I think they're going to curb his participation in this game because of the injuries he's dealing with and the possibility of re-injuring himself in a prolonged period of time. They don't want that. But you got to play Christian McCaffrey, unfortunately. He's dealing with injury. You got to play Brandon Ayuk. You already know that they're going to limit Brandon Ayuk in this game. He's going to have, a limited capacity, so it's going to fall on Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. All right, people, that's it. That's it. Good luck in your fantasy drafts. Drafts. Good luck in your fantasy games, and hopefully you come out on top. And pay attention to the waiver wire during the week. I'll be talking to you again 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday morning next week about starts, sits, and sleepers. And we'll see you then. And come out with that win, people. We're out of here. See ya.